These children are not just kidnapped and in some cases bred by families as a cash crop. We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them. And when they are sold, they come without birth certificates, which means it's easier to kill them and have no one ask where they are. We're also importing children by the plane load. Again, children who have no documentation. It's not just child slavery or child sex abuse. It's also child torture, because you have adrenalized blood. You have the whole blood drinking ceremony of the satanic world. It's also the use of children for harvesting body organs. And then you have ritual ceremonies and ritual murder, as well as incidental murder. Most organizations that end up being used to prey on children, Oxfam is a recent example, all of the United Nations organizations, the Boy Scouts of America, all of the child services agencies across the United States of America, they did not start out as organizations to prey on children, but they attract pedophiles. And ultimately, pedophiles end up rising in the ranks and controlling those organizations, so that an organization that initially started out in the service of children becomes an organization that is in fact hunting children.
Shalom, Yasharala Shalom. This your Kadash Alahayim coming at you with another quick lesson. First and foremost, I like to say Kal Hala Abanawa Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Hamashiach Amanawal Barakatah. Yahweh being the name of our Heavenly Father, the Ancient of Days, the Lord of Hosts, the Almighty, and Yahweh being the name of His only begotten Son, our Lord and Savior, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And I got a quick lesson for y'all today, man, pertaining to CPS, right? Child Protective Services, right? Our government hide behind the banner of Child Protective Services when there's a more sinister plot that's behind that, right? So when you look up Child Protective Services, it refers to government agencies in the United States that investigate allegations of child abuse or neglect, and if confirmed, intervene by providing services to the family through a safety plan, in-home monitoring, supervisions, or if a safety plan is not feasible or in emergencies, removing the child from the custody of their parent or legal guardian, right? So when you look at it, this could be a good thing. You know, if a child is in danger, if a child is being abused, treated unfairly, right? If a child is being put in a position where their life is at risk, yeah, it's good for somebody to step in and help that child, right? Because a child can't fend for themselves, right? A child don't have the knowledge or the strength to fight back or to defend themselves. So this could be seen as a good thing, right? You know what I'm saying? If used in a righteous fashion, if used in a legal fashion. You know what I'm saying? But this wicked beast system is known to abuse its power, is known to be crooked and corrupt, right? This beast system, this system that we in is known to have a dark side. And that's what we're more so going to go into, is the dark side of Child Protective Services, right? Because this is the number one way that our enemies kidnap our children and human traffic our children and make a lot of money off of selling our babies, man, right? Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter and the 32nd verse. Because the Most High said that these things will happen in the land of our captivity, right? Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 32, and it reads, "Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand." Right? So our sons and daughters will be given into another people, right? So this goes into when we got off the boats during the Atlantic slave trade. As soon as we got off those boats, our children were sold off to our enemies, right? Were sold off to Edom, to the so-called white man, right? And there was no might in our hands to get our children back.
Mr. Ford. Splendid seeing you, sir. What catches your fancy? This lad is very brawny, yeah?
How much are the ones Platt and Eliza?
Yes. 1,000 for Platt. This is a nigger of considerable talent, I assure you. 700 for Eliza? My fairest price?
You will accept a note?
Please,
of course,
sir,
from you, Mr.
do not
Ford.
divide my family. Do not take me unless you take my children.
Eliza, quiet!
You will have the most faithful slave of me, the most
Liza.
faithful slave that's ever lived, but I beg that you
Your
do
price
not
for the boy.
separate
The
us.
boy.
Please.
Stop it. I will give you something to cry about. Randall, come forward. Come. Now, you see how fit this boy is. Like ripe fruit. May I take your stick for a moment? Observe this, Randall. Jump, run. Very good. Higher. You see this? Very likely. He will grow into a fine beast. 600 for the boy. Fair and final.
Done.
Superb. A moment, please. Mr. Ford.
Please.
Eliza.
How much for the little girl? You have no use for her. One so young will bring you no profit.
No. I cannot sell the girl. No, there's heaps and piles of money to be made from her. She's a beauty, one of the regular bloods. None of your thick-lipped, bullet-headed, cotton-picking niggers here.
A child, man. For God's sake, you're not sentimental in the least.
My sentimentality extends the length of a coin. Now, do you take this lot, Mr. Ford, or do you pass on them all?
Please.
I will take the ones Platt and Eliza.
Sold, Eliza and Platt. Splendid.
Do not take them from me.
Get her out.
Right? A whole family could go to a slave master and be on this plantation. But if the slave master want to split up that family for financial gain, he would. He don't give a damn about a household being together on his plantation. He's only thinking about the money, right? So it would be no might in the mother's hand to get her child back if the slave master sold the baby to another slave master. The same with the father. The father wasn't able to go and just get his child back from another plantation, right? Now, when you fast forward to today, it's the same thing dealing with CPS, right? CPS can come to your house without any warrant, without any proper documents, and they could say you did this, that, and the third to a child, which is not true, and they could take your child, right? And there's no might in your hands to get them back, right? So these curses are forever embedded in our nation of people until we turn back to the laws, statutes, and commandments and seek the Most High face and repent and turn from our wickedness, man. Right? Because there's a lot of unjust behavior happening with Child Protective Services, man. Right? Let's jump down to the 41st verse. Deuteronomy 28 in verse 41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. Right? Thou shalt beget sons and daughters. That means you have sons and daughters. Right? But you're not going to enjoy your children, man. For they shall go into captivity. CPS, Child Protective Services, going to come and get them and put them in the system. Right? You had a couple in Texas. Just recently, you had a couple in Texas. They decided to have a at-home birth and to do things the natural way. And soon as the baby was born and you know, the hospitals found out, right? CPS got involved and came and took the newborn baby just because they didn't want to have the baby in the hospital.
Mila Jackson was born on March 21st in DeSoto, 6 pounds, 9 ounces. A midwife helped with a successful home birth. 3 days later, her parents Rodney and Tamisha Jackson took her to a pediatrician for a standard checkup. They say they got a clean bill of health and took the baby back home. Then they got messages from the doctor that the baby had jaundice, dangerously high levels of bilirubin, The parents told them that with the help of their midwife, they would treat the baby on their own.
Several hours later into the night, he texts my phone, the very aggressive, take her to the hospital or he's calling CPS.
And that's what he did. Dr. Anand Bhatt telling the court, I authorized the support of CPS to help get this baby the care that was medically necessary and needed. And Child Protective Services agreed, writing, due to the parents being unwilling to discuss the danger and potential consequences of this condition, it is necessary for the department to intervene. DeSoto police helped CPS take the baby from them at their home on March 28th.
Unlawfully enter my home and come and take my baby from me.
But here's an additional problem. The affidavit used to justify CPS taking custody of the child lists the wrong mom, a woman with a completely different name, a woman with a history of neglect. Not Tamisha Jackson, the mom who gave birth to Mila.
And so instantly I felt like they had stolen my baby, as I had had a home birth, and they are trying to say that my baby belonged to this other woman.
We've been treated like criminals, and that's far from the truth. This is a nightmare that I wouldn't wish on anyone.
We're demanding that Mila be returned home today. Today. Because yesterday was too late.
CPS, meanwhile, says it can't comment on the case. The infant has been placed with a foster family, and 2 distraught parents have been told to wait until a next court hearing in 2 more weeks. In Dallas, I'm Kevin Reese.
Now, we did reach out to Baylor Scott and White, which said, in part, in respect of patient privacy, it is inappropriate to provide comment on this matter.
Right? And that's what I'm talking about. That's not right. That's unjust. That's wicked. That's evil. Just because a couple decided within their marriage, within their household, that they wanted to have a at-home birth, and because they didn't go into the beast system to have this child, they look at it like, I don't know how Esau looked at it, man. Esau looked at them like they was the enemy and that they should be punished for not coming to the hospital, right? So now that couple is suing the state of Texas for that, man. But that just goes to show you how corrupt this system can be. Why? Because children are a gift from the Most High, man. They are our possessions, right? Let me get that in the book of Psalms, chapter 127, and let's just jump down to the 3rd verse, right? Psalms 127 and verse 3, and it reads, Lo, children are an heritage of the Lord, right? And heritage goes into property that is or may be inherited. An inheritance, right? Lo, children are an heritage of the Lord. That's our property, man. And the fruit of the womb is his reward. It's a gift from the Most High for us to have children, sons and daughters, man. It's a gift. And that's our property. And when CPS come in making up all kind of damn excuses and allegations to take our children, they're messing with our property. They're messing with our inheritance, man. They're messing with our possession, right? Just like when women get kidnapped in the streets, these men are stealing our property from us, right? They have videos, women in the parking lot of a grocery store, minding her business, trying to bring back some food for the household. And then you have these demons that lure the woman in or creep up on her and snatch her up and just throw her in the car so they can make money off this woman. They messing with our possessions, right? When you go to Ecclesiasticus, the 36th chapter, and you go down to the 24th verse, it lets you know that he that getteth a wife getteth him a possession, right? Roughly paraphrasing. He that getteth him a wife getteth a possession, meaning that's your property now. And these demons out here running around stealing our possessions and trafficking them off for financial gain. You know what I'm saying? The same thing with Child Protective Services. That's the dark side of Child Protective Services, because everybody's intentions are not always pure. Most of the time, their intentions are not pure, man. right? But there's consequences. And there's judgments coming to Babylon, which is known as America, for all the atrocities, for all the kidnappings, for all the men stealing and baby stealing and women stealing, right? Let's go to the book of Exodus chapter 21 and verse 16. The book of Exodus chapter 21 and verse 16, and it reads, "And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death." Right? So kidnapping, human trafficking, sex trafficking, right? Those are sins that are worthy of death. You get the death penalty for that, man. Ain't no restitution for that. That is straight up the death penalty. He shall surely be put to death. He that stealeth a man. This government agency, CPS, they steal a lot of men, a lot of little boys and little girls, man. They do that, and they sell them off. Right? They sell them off, send them to overseas, so they can be used so they could be used in sex trafficking rings. You know, it's bad, man. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hands, he shall surely be put to death. Right? That's a sin worthy of death. And a lot of our own people work for these agencies, and they responsible. The blood is on their hands. Right? There's Hellenistic Jews, right? Hellenistic Israelites who don't know that they Israelites, who think they African American, that they black, right? They are involved heavily with destroying their own people. When you pull up to a house and it's your own people and you taking a child from them because you know, trying to follow the crowd or get down with the get down, right? Or earn you a paycheck, knowing that it's morally wrong. You know what I'm saying? You're now worthy of death, man. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 24 and verse 7. The book of Deuteronomy chapter 24 and verse 7, and it reads, "If a man be found stealing any of his brethren of the children of Israel," right? This is our own people, right? "And maketh merchandise of him, or selleth him, then that thief shall die," right? "And thou shalt put away evil from among you," right? So these people at Child Protective Services, especially our people of our nation, right? They are known as thieves, man. These are thieves showing up to your doorstep, man, and just taking your child, right? Now, like I said, on the brighter side, yeah, it's a good thing for Child Protective Services to come and rescue a child from a dangerous situation, right? This is not what we're discussing right now, right? We're discussing unjust dealings, man, where the child is not in danger, where the child is not in a destructive situation, and these people showing up to your house and just taking your child because they feel like they got the authority to just come take your child. A lot of times they be violating so many laws, man. There's rules and regulations for these people to be able to come and take your child.
Things Child Protective Services don't want parents to know, part 1. And if you didn't know, Child Protective Services is the largest child trafficking network in existence today. Book reference. Key legal standards Child Protective Services must follow. 1. Exigent circumstances. Exigent circumstances are one of the most misunderstood and overused justifications Child Protective Services relies on to remove children without a court order. To legally remove a child without a warrant, CPS must prove there is an immediate, clear, and present danger to the child's safety that requires immediate action. Let's go to case law. Wallace versus Spencer. The court ruled that exigent circumstances require specific articulable evidence of immediate risk to the child. Vague or speculative danger is not enough. This next case is Rogers versus County of San Joaquin, in which the court reinforced that exigent circumstances must involve a significant risk of harm that cannot wait for judicial approval. And here's what exigent circumstances are not. Dirty dishes in the sink, a messy house, disagreement with Child Protective Services about parenting methods, a parent refusing entry without a warrant. If CPS tries to claim exigent circumstances, demand they articulate the specific, immediate danger they believe exists. If they can't, they are violating your constitutional rights. And if they show up to your door, you do not have to let them in. They must have a warrant. And you must stand on the fact that they need a warrant in order to search your place. And you got to stand on that point 10 toes, because you cannot waive your constitutionally protected rights. You must express them, along with the fact that you have a right not to incriminate yourself. So you don't have to give up any information to these people. They prey off your ignorance and lack of knowledge of not knowing your constitutionally protected liberties. I help parents get their children back, and I help people fight against Child Protective Services. Comment me if you want to learn more. Peace.
They can't just come without warrants. They can't just come because they don't agree with your parenting skills. They can't do that, man. That's breaking the law. And they break the law for financial gain because they want to take your child. They want to sell their organs. They want to sell their body parts, or they want to take your child and use them for sex trafficking, human trafficking, to make financial gain. These are thieves showing up to your doorstep, man, under the banner of CPS, right? That thief shall die, and we shall put away evil from among us, right? Let's go to the book of 1 Timothy. The book of 1 Timothy, the first chapter, and let's go down to the 9th verse. The book of 1 Timothy, chapter 1 and verse 9, and it reads, knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man, but for the lawless and for the disobedient, for the ungodly and for sinners, for unholy and profane, for murderers of fathers and murderers of mothers, for manslayers. Right? So the law is not made for the upright man, for the righteous, right? The law is made for the wicked, for the lawless and disobedient. Just like with this judicial system here in Babylon, right? Let's say you're a law-abiding citizen. You don't break the laws in this society, right? You don't have to face the consequences of breaking the law. That's not for you, right? You're doing what you're supposed to do. You're living in harmony with the system. The law is made for those that's out here murdering, gang banging, scamming, right? Scheming, selling dope. So the ones that's polluting society with evil and wickedness and sorcery, that's who the law is made for, man. Right? For the ungodly, for the sinners, for the transgressors of the law, unholy and profane, for the murderers of fathers and murderers of mothers, for menslayers. Right? That's who the law, statutes, and commandments was made for. Those that violate, that don't live in harmony with these scriptures. Verse 10, for whoremongers, for them that defile themselves with mankind, homosexuals, for men stealers. So these law, statutes, and commandments was put in place for men stealers, kidnappers, right? Kidnappers. For liars. They show up to your door, they lie about incidents just to get your child. For perjured persons. And if there be anything other than that, it's contrary to sound doctrine, right? If it be anything other than that, it's contrary to sound doctrine. So the law was made for the wicked, man. So once the wicked violate these laws, they can get judgment put upon them in hopes that they start living according to the law, right? You want to be evil and ungodly, the Most High gonna judge you. He's gonna penalize you and judge you and meet you with that same evil in hopes that you turn away from your evil, right? So that's why the law was put in place, not for the righteous man, but for the wicked men, women, and children that's living out here in this world, right? Like I mentioned earlier, though, we have a unjust system that we live in. It's a corrupt justice system that we living in out here in Babylon, man. As you can see, it's really two court systems, one for the nation of Edom and one for the children of Israel, right? That's just what it is. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 10 and verse 1. The book of Isaiah, chapter 10 and verse 1, and it reads, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees." This is blatantly talking about America's judicial system. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. Right? A lot of these laws that you know the devil push in this society, they are grievous, man. It's unfair, it's unjust. A lot of these laws that they write into effect, a lot of these policies, right? A lot of these bills that they sign, they be grievous for the children of Israel, right? Which they have prescribed. Verse 2, to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people. So they feel like if you ain't got money in this society, they can do whatever they want to with you because you ain't got no power to fight back. You don't have the resources or the finances to hire a good lawyer or attorney to fight back. So they feel like they can do whatever they want to you, man. They take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless.
And partly because of the general rule that welfare is cut off if there is a man in the house, fathers are often driven away so that mother and children can eat.
85% of the head of household is a woman, because most of the men who should be in the household, they cannot make a decent living. And of course it is better to know that a child will be fed 12 months out of the year than 3 months, which during the summer when construction work you can make a decent living.
The man in the house rule was written to prevent welfare cheating, to make sure that aid to families with dependent children would go only to families headed by mothers. But the effect of the man in the house rule is to create for children an atmosphere of investigation and surveillance. And thus, the welfare system in its operation turns out to be a system to make life harder for children. The welfare system in its operation turns out to be a system to make life harder for children.
And no wonder then, out of these more vulnerable neighborhoods, we get an endless cycle of troubled, delinquent, wayward youth. The welfare system helps the disintegration of the American family. It offers money to families if the fathers will leave them and stay away, in that sense undoing the very stability of the family and taking away one of the two parents the children, of course, need. And what I have seen, I'm afraid to say, all over the country is that the legal system works against the best kind of home for these children. We don't encourage parents to be at home with the children. We don't encourage mothers to feel that they can find their destiny as mothers. We take away, in many of the most vulnerable homes, fathers from those homes. We herd foster children together in institutions rather than trying to find decent homes for them. We don't tap the resources we have in communities and with respect to older people so that they can help out vulnerable homes. We don't sanction and encourage and support in every way, morally, psychologically, and financially, the dignity and integrity of the home. And in the worst of it is that the homes that are most vulnerable are the homes that are least supported by the policies of local, state, and federal governments. And no wonder then, out of these more vulnerable neighborhoods, we get an endless cycle of troubled, delinquent, wayward youth who grow up even more and become the lawbreakers of our society.
Right? So their whole job is to get the man out the household, right? We knew about that since what, the 50s, the 60s, right? Their intentions is to get the man out the household, kill him, right? Kill him off by the hands of law enforcement. And now their wives are widows, and now their children are fatherless. And now they want to take advantage of the widows and the fatherless. That's just how this society is. Pertaining to us, the children of Israel, they want to keep us in a docile state, keep us at the bottom of society, keep us in torments. You know what I'm saying? But this is directly talking about the judicial system of America, right? Let's jump to the book of Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha. Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha. Let's go to the 34th chapter, and let's go down to the 21st verse, all right? Ecclesiasticus chapter 34 and verse 21, and it reads, "The bread of the needy is their life. He that defraudeth him thereof is a man of blood." Right? So another thing is, the bread of the needy is their life, meaning we need our finances, right? We need our earnings. And according to the law, whenever we labor, whenever we work, whenever we labor to make money, we supposed to get paid before the sun go down. We're supposed to get paid that same day that we did our labors, right? The bread of the needy is their life. We're looking forward to getting paid because we have a family to provide for. We got things we need to get. He that defraudeth him thereof is a man of blood, right? So waiting a week for your paycheck or waiting 2 weeks for a paycheck, the people that's giving you your paycheck, they're known as the man of blood, because they're defrauding you of your finances. They're defrauding you of your bread, which is life, right? So they can do whatever they got to do with it, invest it for a week, put it into stocks for a week, whatever they do with it. They're known as the man of blood because they're defrauding you of what is rightfully yours, right? That whole system within itself, the pay system, the weekly pay system, bi-weekly pay system, that's demonic and satanic within itself. Verse 2, "He that taketh away his neighbor's living slayeth him. He that defraudeth the laborer of his hire is a bloodshedder," right? Just showing you the corruptness of this beast system. It ain't just, right? It ain't just dealing with, them stealing children, right? A lot of this comes into effect, dealing with weekly pay and bi-weekly pay. A lot of conditions, a lot of households are in harsh conditions out here in Babylon because people not getting paid on time, right? They can't feed the children on time, right? The children at home starving. They're not getting the proper resources. Next thing you know, here comes CPS coming in. "Oh, you ain't, we heard that your child hasn't been eating, right? Your child hasn't been eating. What's going on?" Well, y'all not paying me. You're not paying me, right? We in here scraping and scrambling. They not starving to death, but I'm not being paid in a timely fashion to be able to continuously provide for the children. And they keep us in a docile state like that, man. Right? That's the point I'm trying to get across. Right? These people defraud us of our finances, and then they show up at your door talking about why you not taking care or providing for the children. Well, first of all, we getting paid crumbs at these jobs, right? Can barely keep the roof over our heads. No money in the bank. Everything is against us, right? We are against all odds, but yet they showing up at the door talking about, "Oh yeah, why you ain't, they only ate 2 packs of noodles today. Yeah, we need to take your children from you." Right? They turn aside the needy from judgment, man. And they take away the right from the poor of my people. Right? So he that taketh away his neighbor's living, you kill him, man. You kill him. You slayeth him, and he that defraudeth the laborer of his hire is a blood shedder. It's like it's a blood shedder, right? That's why it's a lot of blood on the hands of our enemies, and they not washing them off. They not washing the blood off their hands, man. They getting more and more blood on their hands. They're not trying to change, right? Let's go to Habakkuk, the 1st chapter and the 4th verse, right? Habakkuk, the 1st chapter and the 4th verse, and it reads, therefore the law is slacked, and judgment doeth never go forth. For the wicked doeth compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceedeth. Right? Wrong judgment proceedeth. The law is slack and judgment never do go forth, man. Just like I was mentioning earlier, about the Texas couple. That was evil as hell what these people did, man. The wicked do compass about the righteous. And wrong judgment proceedeth, man. That was wrong judgment. That was not a green light to go and take a newborn baby from their family because you feel like the family should have had the hospital, had the child in your hospital. That's evil as hell, man. That's evil as hell. They violated the law. That's how the law is slack, because the people that's running this system is violating this system. And judgment doeth never go forth. Who's held accountable for kidnapping that baby? Wrongfully kidnapping that baby, man. Who's held accountable for that? Because last I read in these scriptures, they're worthy of death, man. They're worthy of death. And a lot of these heathens, a majority of all these heathens, man, they wasn't given the law, statutes, and commandments. They not under the law, right? They not under the Levitical priesthood, or they not under the priesthood after the order of Melchizedek, right? So these people can't repent. So they got to be put to death, man. They got to be put to death.
Child Protective Services that I mentioned a little while ago. In Orange County last year, they had a bust for these traffickers. They got 105 people, victims of trafficking, human trafficking. 65% of those victims were wards of Child Protective Services. Not only were they wards of Child Protective Services, but check this out, they were never reported missing.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
So maybe they were literally sold by people within Child Protective Services.
Well, what we're finding now is this trafficking is a lot bigger and a lot more involved politically than we care to look at or the media won't cover. Everybody's afraid because there's some real big heavy hitters that are very influential that are involved.
And the acquisition of the children was for sexual purposes?
Absolutely. Children are sold, and there have been cases, children are sold up to 75 times in one day. One day, 75 different Johns abuse this child.
Right.
It's making the child trafficking industry, or human trafficking, I should say, industry right now makes more money than the illegal drug trade and illegal arms trade combined.
Wow.
Combined. So children are definitely a commodity. They're a commodity to make money.
Right? Let me get one more precept, man. Let's go to the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and chapter 10. It's like it. The Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 10 in the Apocrypha, man. Yeah, those who are under the law are the children of Israel, and the children of Israel alone. Right? Our people like to join hand in hand with the wicked, with the heathens. Our people like to do that. You know what I'm saying? That's just something they are conditioned to do. You was programmed to be in this melting pot and to be acceptable to everybody, but the Most High not acceptable to everybody. Right? Yeah, he may have mercy on who he have mercy on when it comes to different heathens or whatever, but that doesn't mean that he has favored these heathens over his people, right? It doesn't mean that these heathens are his inheritance or that these heathens are going to be in rulership with you in the kingdom. That ain't what he about, man. Right? Let's go to the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 10, and it reads, this is what our enemies say. Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 10. Let us oppress the poor and righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age. Right? It's fully set in their heart to do evil. Right? Verse 11, and it's the point. Let our strength be the law of justice. Right? So they say, let our strength be the law of justice. Power becomes their law. Right? Power becomes their law. For that which is feeble, meaning weak, is found to be nothing worth. Right? That which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. That means, right, they see gentleness, mercy, or righteousness as a sign of weakness. Right? They see that as a sign of weakness. So they look at the children of Israel like we're weak because we have gentleness, mercy, and we are upright and righteous. And they feel like we are unworthy of respect or perseveration, man.
I'm right here trying to get help. These motherfuckers just kidnapped my fucking baby. They give me no fucking work. Just took my fucking baby. They give me no fucking help. I've asked for help for months. I ain't you, bitch.
The city of Cedar Rapids, Iowa is kidnapping my son. They contacted a judge. This is the main woman that made that happen.
Tasha, we gotta sort this out.
This is the sergeant that confirmed it.
We need you to help us through this process, okay?
This is the DCFS worker that's going to be handling it. They're taking my baby. So I'm just going to leave.
Right? They feel like we are unworthy of respect or perseveration because they feel like we are weak and feeble and found to be nothing worth, man. So that's why they feel they can do anything to us because they have the law in their power and they could move it how they want to move it. They control the law. And unlike the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments, the law of the beast system, it changes on a daily basis. The Most High laws don't change, man. It's set in stone, right? But they law can bend this way, bend that way to fit their agenda, right? So, CPS is a cover up for a darker scheme, and that goes into men stealing, kidnapping, human trafficking, sex trafficking. They doing this stuff for financial gain. All right? So be mindful out here in these streets, man. Keep your head on the swivel, and pray. Pray over your households, man. Pray over your children. And do everything in your power to learn the laws of the Most High, first and foremost, but also learn the laws of this system so they don't violate your rights. Because a lot of people, they lose their children because they don't know their rights. They don't know the law. Right? So we got to equip ourselves with the tools that's necessary to survive in this beast system, man. And with that, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Hamashiach, Amanawal, Barakatah. It's H.O.I. Las Vegas. It's H.O.I. to the chariots fly. Shalom, Yasharallah.